Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Vikram sir, Amit, and All India Society for giving me this opportunity. I don't have any financial disclosures. So these are some of the expressions which we get in our post of unhappy patient. So make it very clear that if you are putting lenses in, you are going to have a patient at some point who isn't happy with the lens. These patients are paying out of the pocket and they expect to pay for the performance. Many times you get that performance, but sometimes you don't. So at times it can be a sort of a tricky pathway to follow. And in this presentation, I will be discussing the same. So first, let's analyze why the patient is unhappy. What exactly is bothering you? Whether it is a vision related, or it is ocular discomfort, or it is something fishy and not specific to our surgery. When it comes to the vision related issues, the main issue is subnormal vision. While the other less important one are obstructed vision, black spots, or glares and halos. For subnormal vision, again there are two possibilities. Either his vision has not improved at all, or with some initial happy hours, now his vision has decreased. So if his vision has not improved at all, then there could be only three possibilities. Either there must be some corneal issue, or retinal issue, or patient must be amblyopic. For retinal and corneal issues, get your retinal and corneal colleague involved at a very early stage. This saves you medico-legally as well as it creates a good rapport between you and your patient. Amongst all these causes of corneal edema, here I just want to draw your attention towards the retained fragment. Sometimes a small chip of fragment that remains hidden behind the iris and that may come out later and touch the cornea and cause edema. Here, the key point is to just remove it as early as possible. Again, in this category, the main culprit is retina in most of the cases. So early OCT may be helpful in detecting as well as to show the patient about the progress. Here again, as per your need, your VR colleague is going to play the crucial role. This obstructed vision, often perceived by patient as a glares, arcs, streaks, rings or halos, dark spots or crescents, typically in the temporal side and temporal field of the visual field. These are mainly dysphotopsias, and that may occur as the rays which strike the square edge of the IOL and get reflected onto the retina. But fortunately, these are temporary phenomena and may disappear within some time. About glass dependency, again, it depends upon the type of IOL. With the trifocal and EDOFs, it has drastically reduced. But one has to be quite sure about the accuracy of the prescribed and dispensed glasses. Then discomfort in and around eyes like irritation, watering, burning sensation, foreign body sensation. Here, the main culprit is dry eyes. And I don't go in the detail as this topic is extensively covered by the Dr. Saurabh. So the take-home message is vision starts with the tear film. Then there are some challenging, sometimes simple, usually infrequent, and typically not so serious type of non-specific symptoms. In these all cases, psychological risk factors like anxiety, depression, fear of surgery, attention deficit should be thoroughly investigated. And if needed, a psychiatrist help should be taken. If nothing is found, then go for detecting vitamin D3 and vitamin B12 levels. So in all cases, you must have to have a plan to deal with the unhappy patients. Before you address unhappy patient, one has to be sure that preoperative assessment has been very accurate, surgery was uneventful, and IOL was bang on the target. So this is some of the checklist. IOP must be measured in early as well as late post-op period. Regarding residual refractive errors, I will discuss in details. Sometimes slightest of the PCO can cause bothering visual disturbances. So get it removed as early as possible. So when it comes to the refractive surprises, an ounce of prevention is worth than a pound of cure. Here the first step is to determine what is patient's expectations. Those patients who are asymptomatic and satisfied with the visual outcomes may simply be observed. Then those who are amenable to wearing glasses, spectacle correction should be the first option. And then comes the lens-based procedures. If your toric IOL is misaligned, get it corrected as soon as possible. Piggyback lenses are very helpful, and like Rayner Sulcoplex or Care Group piggyback lens, they made our job very easy. They are available from -10 to +10 diopters wide range. Calculating power is also very easy. So many formulas available and all are very easy. These are got piggyback lenses at relatively very fewer complications. The most important is interface membrane, and which can easily be dealt with by YAG laser. And lastly comes the IOL exchange. Visual outcomes are very excellent, but surgery for IOL exchange may be sometimes very challenging. So before attempting an IOL exchange, one has to wait for at least 3 months, and one has to be sure that it is the IOL which is bothering the patient. As you can see, the most common indication for IOL exchange is opaque IOL, and the least common is refractive surprises. Then comes the laser refractive surgeries like LASIK and PRK, which are very accurate and predictable in less than 3 diopter miss. But the only prerequisite is the cornea should be healthy. So not all refractive misses have to be surgically corrected. So to conclude, let the patient know that you are on the case. You are going to work to get him where he wants to be. You have to take initiative to follow up and continue to communicate with the patient to maintain the healthy relations. We can use a variety of technology and procedures to make our patient happy. But the success mantra is identify the potential problems before you operate. Thank you.